This is Jamey with Stonemaier Games, and today I'm going to share my favorite mechanism in Cthulhu Death May Die, which I played with 4 players very recently for the first time. Took some photos of it. It's not my game, but I took some photos so you can see what my player mat looks like, my character mat, and one of the cards I got during the game. And this originally was going to be one of my favorite mechanisms. I think it's a really clever card system. Basically, there are certain times in the game where you get cards and you make a choice, and if you choose this side, you slide it under your mat so that all of this stuff is covered up, and then vice versa if you choose the other side. I think it's a clever card system, but I won't go into it too much in detail here because I actually have 2 other favorite mechanisms to mention in this game. The one is an overarching element of this cooperative game where you're fighting against bad stuff, which is typically not the cooperative game, the style of cooperative game that I enjoy. Bad stuff keeps happening to you, and you have to mitigate that stuff and fight against it and try to optimize so that you can also meet the victory condition and not die in the meantime. And that is what's happening in this game. But one thing that I really like is that you get stronger as the game proceeds. Even as the situation on the board gets worse, you yourself, your characters, are getting much more powerful. You have these abilities that you're unlocking here. And even this ability system is really clever. Each player has 3 different abilities that you can upgrade, and these abilities aren't completely unique, but the combination of them is. For example, there might be another character that has Arcane Mastery with the same lineup of abilities, so they only need to design one lineup of Arcane Mastery abilities here, but they mixed and matched these abilities on different characters. So for example, my character had Gate Manipulation, she's a marksman, and she had Arcane Mastery. Another character might have Arcane Mastery, but that character might also have Brawling or another ability mixed in with that. I thought that was a clever system. Over the course of the game, though, these abilities are getting stronger and stronger. So you start off weak, but you're getting stronger. Also, there's this madness mechanism that I really like, that I'll delve deeper into in a second because that's my other favorite mechanism in the game. But overarching, I want to stress this. If you are making a cooperative game where it is the game is fighting against you, give players a sense of progression. Let them feel stronger in the game. That feels really good. And I think that's why this game has done so well. And that's why Spirit Island, one of the big reasons why Spirit Island has done so well, because you feel stronger and stronger as a player, as a character, or as a spirit in that game, and as a team, even as the board state gets worse. I think that's really crucial to an against the AI style cooperative game. Back to this madness mechanism, though. Just a little thing here that I want to mention because I think it's really clever. Some of the most memorable moments in the game come from each player's madness card. You have this madness card that triggers at certain times on this madness track. And the triggers are generally bad, but sometimes you can manipulate them so they can be a little good. And they're very memorable. I like that they're very distinct. It's one specific card. It's memorable, and it's memorable when it triggers. And it's memorable because it only triggers at different times. It's not an ongoing thing that you have to remember. You have to just be aware of when you're close to reaching one of these madness points, you need to expect that pretty soon this madness card is going to trigger, and you need to be ready for that. You can plan around it even. But I really like this idea that it's not ongoing, that it triggers a specific time. So you don't have to remember this bad thing that's always happening off to the side. It's just this thing that triggers when you reach certain points on this track. It's very visible, very easy to remember. Yeah, those are my favorite elements of the game. And I also wouldn't say that madness makes you stronger throughout the game, but as you get more used to what your madness does, your madness card does, you can use it to your advantage over the course of the game. For example, my madness was that I would move one room and then deal 2 damage to all figures in the adjacent room. So when I was getting close to madness, I would try to get other players to clear out of adjacent rooms, and I would try to draw in enemy characters or enemy figures towards me because I would deal them 2 damage just like my fellow cooperative companions. So I was able to manipulate this madness to deal damage to the bad guys. And I figured that out over the course of the game, and it wasn't something that I figured out right at the beginning of the game. So yeah, those are my favorite mechanisms in Cthulhu Death May Die. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. A, about a different favorite mechanism that you have, or any favorite mechanism you have in Cthulhu Death May Die. And B, if you have any other examples of cooperative games where you as a character or you as a team have a strong sense of mechanical progression throughout the game, where you are actually getting stronger and stronger even as the game itself, as the AI itself, or the board state itself is getting stronger itself or worse in comparison to you. Love to hear your thoughts about that in the comments below. Thanks.